After spending the majority of their lives working, many people look forward to retirement for the chance to finally have time to devote to their own interests for as long as their health permits. Maybe just to spend time with their grandchildren. But how is it going to be for future generations? Can children born today count on the same standard of living by the time they reach the autumn of their lives? Questions like these are what economist Johanna Wallenius devotes much of her time to.
You pay into the system as a worker with a certain expectation, but right now I think with population aging and a lot of governments having to do something in order to keep the system solvent, the question then becomes, do you raise the minimum retirement age or do you cut the generosity of benefits? So it's not obvious that people can expect to have the same benefit in the future that current retirees are enjoying.
As we work at our jobs, a percentage of our income goes to pay taxes. A portion of these taxes is allocated to our pensions. But there's a problem. There are fewer children born every year, and we are all living longer, which creates an imbalance in pension systems. Finding a solution to this complex problem employs researchers all over the world.
This is of key importance for most countries, and this is also going to be an issue in the US and Japan, for instance, has a rapidly aging population. So really it affects most of the Western world. And this is where, we as economists and academics should weigh into the discussion and try to affect good policy as opposed to uninformed, panicking, as it were.
Johanna Wallenius already knew in high school that she wanted to be an economist.
When I was in high school, I read a book by John Maynard Keynes, and he described, the requirements of an economist, and he said you have to be a mathematician, a statesman, a philosopher, a historian, with the brashness of youth. I thought, wow, well, this could be me, right?
After 4 years studying at college in her hometown of Helsinki, she went on to doctoral studies at Arizona State University in the United States and ended up eventually in Stockholm. And for 6 years now, she's been working as an associate professor here at Handelshögskolan, Sweden's most prestigious school for business and economics.
Most of the faculty is here on the 8th floor, but some of us are also on the 7th floor, and then the PhD students are spread out a little bit. This is kind of our communal coffee area, which is a really nice feature, I think, in Scandinavia, that you have places to congregate. So we have a weekly fika. You know how important fika is in Sweden. The work week is often filled with a lot of interaction with other people. Of course, part of the year I teach, and so I interact with students. This is Max, my other postdoc. Hi, here we are, as promised.
So what are Johanna and her team of researchers working on?
Right, and this is my office.
Nothing less than clairvoyance into the future, or more accurately, the prediction of several likely scenarios of what the future will look like. This requires management and analysis of massive amounts of information, which they carry out with the help of computers.
Computers can be very helpful in simulating the behavior of individuals. So then you have a lot of variables and long time horizons, and then the computers help you tackle the question numerically that you just can't solve analytically on pen and paper.
With the help of statistics, we can first create a model of society or the system to be studied. Once an accurate description of reality is built up in the computer, selected parameters are adjusted, and we can study the resulting additional effects these changes bring.
With these computer-aided models, you can kind of, without having to implement all sorts of things and conclude, 10 years or 30 years down the road that it was a bad idea, it didn't have the intended consequence, we could already, hopefully, be able to tell you that this will work and this won't, or something like that. But you're just kidding. The goal is that whatever we uncover could be used to affect policy. If we stumble on something good, it should have an impact, and not just be of academic curiosity.
So what are the conclusions that Johanna and her colleagues have arrived at? How do we get more people to work longer?
The key thing is to provide incentives for people to want to remain employed. Certainly, another thing is allowing people to collect benefits and continue working can be a good way to keep people employed and still paying taxes and paying into the system. There's a lot of positives potentially associated with immigration, and it can solve some of the employment shortages in some countries, for sure. You know, with an aging society, there's going to be certain types of jobs that we're going to need more of, you know, like home health care workers, and I think immigrant workers can help ease that burden.
In the mid-90s, Johanna's second homeland, Sweden, implemented an extensive pension reform, which naturally she has examined in their computer simulations. And the results look promising.
But this reform was implemented, you know, with great hopes, but very little formal analysis, as far as we could tell. So we wanted to kind of do a more formal analysis and see what would happen. And we find that it looks good. I mean, it has a lot. Our model predicts a lot of the intended consequences, namely that the average retirement age should definitely increase by more than 2 years, is what we're predicting. So.
Exactly what the future holds, of course, we cannot know. But with increased knowledge comes a better chance that those children born today will get a decent pension when it's their turn.